my gosh, I cannot believe that we are actually live right now. First and foremost, I just want to, thank everybody for joining me. Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Eyes on the Prize, brought to you by your Neighborhood Pearl Vision. Eyes on the Prize, you guys, this is a safe space for us parents to come together and share tips on how to combat our kids' heightened anxieties. Not only the kids, you guys, the parents too. Heightened anxieties and pressures as, the kids, they kick off another unpredictable school year. So you guys, I am so excited because today I am joined by fellow mom, Dr. Deborah Gaboa, otherwise known as Dr. G. I love that, Dr. G. So cool. She is a parenting and youth development expert. She works with families, organizations, and even businesses to identify the mindset and the strategies that will help transform stress. Oh gosh, stress. I think we're all familiar with that word, into a tool that builds mental health. So you guys, we are so lucky to have her with us here today. So I want to go ahead and have her join with me. And let's just wait on her. But again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I had mentioned in, my stories that today we're just going to open up a Q&A and just, have a conversation about, mental health. So, physical health, and why is that important for, us parents and also our children. I think Deborah, she's on now, right? Deborah, hello? Oh wait, I see something. Let's see, is she on? She just kind of went away. But I'm so excited to see all of these people in the chat right now, to have this conversation. We all know that, you guys, the past 18 months during quarantine, it has been insane. Okay, Deborah, are you here?
I am. I'm so sorry. I was here and then the internet decided I should leave. I apologize.
The internet has a mind of its own. So I hear you. And then is she on the, okay, awesome. So let's get this going. There you are. Hi.
Hi. So great to see you.
Oh my gosh, it's nice to see you. I love your top. That is so pretty.
You. I appreciate that.
But I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time and just lending your wisdom and your knowledge. I've heard so many great things about you, so I can't wait to dive into this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and for everyone who's with us. I really appreciate it. This is super important stuff.
It really, really is. So I can't wait to dive into what we're going to talk about. But before we start our conversation, I will, tell everyone who's here that later in the show, Dr. G and myself, we will be answering and discussing questions and concerns you may have. So just go ahead and leave them in the comments below. But before you got on, I was basically talking about how, these past 18 months, they have really been hard. You know what I mean? It's definitely been a challenge. Of course, dealing with the kids being at home and social distancing or social distance learning, for the first time, and then parents had to step into the role of being teachers. And then if you were working at the same time, it was, trying to balance, all of that. I will say that there were like pros and cons to it. Some of the pros that I want to ask you some questions too, but the thing that I've noticed that I took with me, or what I learned from all of this, was how resilient and how adapting kids are. Like the way that my son, Cree, and Cairo, of course there were challenges, which we will talk about later, but the way that they just, handled this, it taught me a lot about myself. You know what I mean? I really feel like we can learn a lot, from our kids. When my daughter, when she had to wear a mask, going outside. She didn't cry about it, at all. Like she just did what she had to do. And the same thing, with my son when he had to, go to school. At home, it was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm so incredibly proud of them. But I guess the first question that I have for you is, what are some lessons your kids have taught you just during that whole crazy 18 months? And what are some hidden blessings in the past year? What have they brought you?
Yeah, it's so terrific that you noticed and were willing to be led by a little bit your kids' experience. It's absolutely true that we have to be really careful about our kids' mental health when they're in this situation where everything is different. They're more socially distant from their teachers who would normally notice things about them and be really keyed in. And teachers did so much important work in the last year to stay connected to our kids, but we have to really pay attention. And I think that that's something I learned that a lot of my patients learned as well, which was, if I'm wondering how my kids are doing, I have to just look at my kids, try and leave my assumptions about how hard masks are to wear or how they're gonna do at the door a little bit and see how are they actually doing and ask.
Yeah, no. You mentioned mental health, right? Which is really important and which is something that we're definitely going to dive into and talk about. And I will say this, the kids are going back to school, right? The fall 2021 back to school season is definitely going to be a year, I feel like no other, right?
It's happening.
It's happening, and I know me, I'm really overwhelmed. I have a lot of anxiety. My son, he was even like, Mommy, I'm scared. But I say that all to say that these kids, and parents, we're dealing with pressures, right? We're dealing with the COVID pressures, we're dealing with academic pressures, we're dealing with peer pressures. So I really want to dive into the topic of mental health and ask you some questions to help with that. And maybe there are parents that are listening and watching right now that, have these same questions and thoughts. So I have several questions for you. One is, there's so much noise around back to school right now, right? And yes, there's the academic pressures, along with the other pressures that I mentioned. How can we help our kids navigate all of these additional pressures, like I had mentioned, COVID, peer pressure, and still focus on school and focus on their studies?
This is really important. And I think that there are 3 quick strategies that we can think of about this. One is prevention. What can we do to prevent them having academic struggles? We can't do everything, but there's some things we can do. What can we do to notice while they're in the situation, how are they really doing, and check in with them? And the last is, how do we help them recover? And so just really briefly, I would say, if, like for your older son, one of your worries is academic pressures, one of the things we can do, and it's great that we're here brought to you by Neighborhood Pearl Vision, because one of the things we can do is make sure that our kids' eyesight is good.
Yes.
So in schools, often kids get eye screening, and screening is really different than a full comprehensive exam like you would get at Pearl Vision, but even that screening didn't happen last year. So it's important for us to remember that 80% of what our kids learn is through their eyes. And if we're worried, getting their eyes checked is a great prevention measure.
It's interesting that you say that because, the kids, they are definitely spending more time on their iPads, and, they have more screen time. And it was really, really important for me to make sure that my son's eye care was, in the forefront. And I'm so happy that we actually did, in fact, doing that, because we found out that he needed glasses. And I have seen a huge benefit with his reading. He's like enjoying reading more, and just with, his schoolwork. So that's really, really important information. Like you said, that 80% of children, they learn through, their eyesight, and we all want our children to reach their potential, when it comes to their development. One other question about mental health and just stress that I felt was really important to ask is, what should I say to children like my son when he says, mommy, I'm scared, about, going back to school. So what should I say to children when they talk to me about being anxious or stressed or scared?
The very first thing that you can always say, even if you have no idea what else to say, is thank you. Expressing gratitude that he shared his
Mm.
feelings with you. Just thanks for telling me. I'm really glad that you felt like you could tell me that. You totally can. When we accept our kids' feelings, we can't accept all their behaviors, right? We have to separate out their feelings from their behaviors, but we can accept any feeling that they have. That gives them an emotionally and psychologically safe place to put
Yes.
whatever they're feeling, even though it gives us all kinds of feelings as parents. We may not know what to do with all those.
Yeah.
While you're in that moment, if you say nothing else, if you just say, hey, Cree, thank you for telling me this, I am the right person for you to go to with this. You
Yes.
have already strengthened his mental health. You've given him confidence,
Yes.
and you've given him safety.
That is, and confidence and safety is so important when it comes to learning. You know what I mean? When a child, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed that with my children, when they feel confident and when they feel safe, then you've created an environment for them to be open, to learn. So
That
thank you.
confidence, sure, that confidence that you're mentioning, that's the link between, for example, your son getting glasses and liking to read more. It's the confidence that links that to mental health. You asked me about mental health, and I talked about making sure that he can see. The
Yes.
confidence to raise your hand in class or online and have an opinion is really valuable. It makes kids stronger. And so when we're worried about them, we got to tick off the easy things to check on so that
Yeah.
if they're still having trouble, we can pay attention to what might be harder for them.
Yes. Now, we talked about mental health. I also wanted to dive into physical health. You've already touched a little bit about eye care, and I definitely want to go into that even more and throw out some more statistics. But I wanted to talk about and ask you questions just about physical health, right? Especially during, the pandemic, the kids, it was kind of hard to get them moving about and around. But I know the importance of that exercise and also, proper nutrition and annual checkups, like annual routines, right? So first, let's talk about exercise and eating healthy. My question to you is, how do I instill the importance of good, healthy habits in my kids?
The best way to do that is by giving them a little bit of ownership. You know how with your younger daughter, if it's her idea to brush her teeth, she'll do it for a lot longer. And if you're standing there saying, don't do this fun thing you wanted to do this thing I'm telling you to do, then you get more resistance. So if we engage children in their health, if we say, boy, which vegetable that we've never tried should we pick from the store? Or what's the healthiest thing that I could eat? Kids like to help us be healthy too. But something you can do with your older child is say, hey, I'm really excited about your birthday coming up or the new school year. And along with that, we need a doctor's visit and we need an eye exam and we need a dentist visit. Do you think you could help me look at your schedule and figure out when's a good time to schedule that?
Yeah, you're talking about scheduling, you're talking about routines, and you mentioned eye exams, right? I want to focus on that right now. Um, I feel like, especially during, these past 18 months, like I had mentioned, kids are definitely on their iPads or, they're experiencing more screen time more than ever.
So
So, like I said earlier, I noticed that, and it was really important for me to, have Cree get an eye exam. But before we even get into that, I wanted to kind of go over some crazy statistics that I, realized, and I noticed that, will basically show how important it is for children to, get their annual eye exams, and not only children, but, parents. 25% of school-aged children, and the percentage actually goes higher to 40% of Hispanic children have undiagnosed vision issues, which is crazy when you talk about that percentage, that 80% of children learn through their eyes. And also, it's important to note that an exam, an eye exam at school or an eye exam at a pediatrician, that's not necessarily like a thorough eye examination. So with that said, I just want to, encourage everyone who's listening right now to, visit your neighborhood Pearl Vision to, book an appointment to, go ahead and schedule your eye exam for your children and even yourself, because, those are high statistics, and this is important information that we're talking about here. And I ended up doing that with my son Cree, and I saw a huge shift and a difference with his performance in school, and like you said earlier, his confidence. So with that said, I do have some questions relating to eye exams and all of that, that maybe you can help answer here. I know my kids' screen time has increased a lot, due to online learning. What signs of vision issues should I be on the lookout for as screens continue to be a part of their world?
Right. So absolutely our kids are on screens more, and some of that is because they have to be and some of it is because they want to be. But we can actually watch for several things. Tia, when you walk into a room, see one of your kids on a screen, the first thing you might think about is, did they do all the other things they were supposed to do? Are they getting enough exercise? But also, if you can stop and just look at your child and see, are they squinting? Are they holding it right here?
Like this?
Right. Or are they complaining more often of headaches? Most kids get a little bit of a headache once in a while. Normal would be a couple of times a year. So if you're hearing from your child or seeing in their eyes that they're uncomfortable, even if they're not on a screen right then, it may be the eye strain that is giving them that headache.
That was actually, it's interesting that you say that, because that was actually a symptom that I noticed with my son. He was always complaining about headaches, and we were like, what is going on? And then, like I said, I started to put two and two together. He was squinting. He didn't like reading, and he was definitely on, his iPad more, than usual. So thank you. That was definitely one sign that I did notice with my son, Cree. Let's see. I have one other question dealing with eye care and health. So kids aren't always vocal about things. Well, you actually, you kind of already answered that question. I said kids aren't always vocal about things. What are some signs to look out for when it comes to your kids' eye health? You basically said headaches, squinting, putting the iPad up to your face very closely. So yeah. You've already answered that question.
I have a question for you, if I may. I'm
Sure.
super impressed that you got Cree's vision tested, right? And I understand, I hear you saying that you were watching him and you thought, oh, maybe we need to, but how do you, as busy as you are, and you were talking about how, you're busy and you sometimes feel stressed and overwhelmed, what do you do to help your kids eat healthy? Or do you have any tips for parents about how you help your kids stay involved? Do you have any hacks that would help me and all the other parents with us today to help our kids be healthier?
Yes, totally. I was impressed with your answer, because you actually said what I do, which is involve your children. I feel like when you involve your kids in whatever activity that they're doing, they will get excited about that end result, right? So for example, Cairo, it took her a long time to want to eat carrots, right? And so basically what I did was I started to involve her in the cooking process. She started to see what was going on, what I was doing with the carrots. And then it made her want to eat it. Another thing is add some of your children's favorite ingredients along with that item or food that they don't like. So for example, carrots. What I would do is I would boil the carrots, but then I would put honey in the carrots, just a little bit of sweetener in it. Yeah. And she loves sweet things. You know what I mean? She loves pancakes. She loves syrup. She loves all of that. So I was like, let me go ahead and just add a little something that she's familiar with onto the things she's not so familiar with. And then she'll like it. And it actually worked. So I would say those are my hacks. Yeah. So add something that they're familiar with and they like to that new ingredient. And then involve them in the process.
That's really smart.
Yeah. You know what? So I think we have to open up the questions in the forum here. Again, thank you to everyone joining. We only have 5 minutes left, so we have to kind of get this going. Let's see. Let's see if we have any questions in the comments. Hi guys! I'm now looking at the comments, you guys. Hi Tia. Hi. Somebody said you have to include everything in the 5 food groups. Yes, that's true. Oh, someone said I have a question. Okay, actually, you guys, you know what? I see a question here. Okay, so the question is, and maybe you can help me with this, doctor, too. What kinds of questions can I ask my child's school or teachers to really find out how they are adapting?
That's an excellent question. So I would start by saying, figure out what's most important to you about your child's experience at school this year. And if it's academic, then you probably have some specific questions. And because this person is asking about adapting, it sounds like it's also about social and emotional health. So ask the teacher, and I would do it in a non-pressured way, like in an email. Hey, when you're not busy, I appreciate all you're doing. And I'm just wondering if you can tell me about my child's interactions with their peers, or how well they're listening, or if you're seeing anything like I'm seeing at home, which concerns me for this reason. The more specific you can be, the more you can help that educator actually answer your question.
Okay, and then one other question that popped up. So between laptop and school and tablet, iPad at home, I'm worried about eye strain due to screen time for my kids. Is there a guide for the amount of time per day that is okay for them? That's important.
So there are a couple of things that you can do. One is you can make sure that the blue light filter is on the devices that your kids are using. Another is that you can park your kids' devices in your room. I say keep a power strip in your bedroom because their devices should charge with you all night. So from whenever before bedtime, ideally an hour or two, if you can do it, to whatever time the next day you say they can have it, that device is with you. But another thing is, because you can't just look at your child and know if they're having eye strain, and a different amount of time will impact different kids in the same way. So if you can get your child a full exam, not just that in school where they read the letters on the wall, but a full eye exam, then you'll be able to either know if you're one of that 25% of kids with an undiagnosed vision problem is there in front of you, or you'll know, okay, whatever it is, we're doing okay. We can check again next year.
I love the idea that you said to keep the iPads with you in your room charging. My daughter is 3, okay? And just yesterday, when I put her down for bed, she goes, Mommy, iPad here, iPad here, iPad here. She wanted the iPad in her room where she can reach the iPad. And I was like, no, Cairo, the iPad has to go CC too. The iPad has to go CC just like, mommy. Wait, I think there's one other question. Is there a right age, I guess, to get a phone or an iPad or tablet?
Okay, I'm the meanest parent in the universe.
Okay.
I'm really the meanest. So there's 2 different questions. A phone is putting the entire internet in your pocket and being able to carry it around and use it anywhere you are in the world. And so for parents, it gets a lot harder to supervise that and keep kids safe. So I would rather kids waited till they were 13 to get a smartphone. And there's a lot of educational and health research that backs up that number. I'm not pulling it out of the. But for tablets, it is really just an issue of how much can you co-view and what firewalls can you put in place. But the best thing you can do is talk to your kids about what is what I call broccoli screen time. It's healthy whenever they want to try it. And what's ice cream sundae screen time, and they really have to ask, and it's rare. And then is there anything that's really poison screen time, and how can you help them be protected from that?
Oh, I like that. That's awesome. Is there a way that you can make like a meme of that so you can have all of those points?
That's a great idea. I really do think about it like I think about nutrition, and I counsel my patients to do that too, because it's gone past the point of saying, well, you're limited to X number of minutes a day. it's just like eating, and we wouldn't let our kids sit down and eat 24/7. But if they want to eat, we feel better if they're eating vegetables.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think that's all that we have for today. I just want to say thank you to my friends at Pearl Vision for getting us together. It feels good to know that we are not alone in trying to navigate this new normal. And I hope there are, you know, a few things, perhaps even just one thing that you guys have taken from today's chat that you find useful. One easy thing we can do is to ensure, you had mentioned this before, Doctor, that our children are seeing clearly this school year. So schedule your family's eye exams at pearlvision.com. That's pearlvision.com. I want to say thank you so much to you, Dr. G. You are amazing for joining me. And thank you all for watching and just sending over your amazing questions.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I did want to mention, if you've joined late, you can find the full discussion on my channel or Dr. G's or Pearl Vision's. This is Eyes on the Prize, brought to you by your neighborhood Pearl Vision. And remember, you guys, you are not alone in this at all. Ask questions. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Thank you, Dr. G. Thank
Thanks,
you, Pearl
everybody.
Vision. Bye.
I so appreciate it. Bye.